Hi folks, Sarah Otley from SJO Accountants. Just giving you a wee update. I think our video the other day seems to have gone down well and you're all quite encouraging to me to continue doing these. So hopefully this will provide you with a little bit more clarity where we know it. A lot of the stuff is still at this stage very grey and there's lacking of clarity, but hopefully we can give you some information just now that will help in the current situation. First of all, with regard to the job retention scheme, this is the furloughing that everybody's talking about at the moment. I just want to clarify that our understanding is as follows. Where an employer cannot keep their staff in work, they can furlough them. So when I say cannot, that might be they've been forced to close by the government legislation issued on Monday evening. It could be that they are forced to close because they have not got enough work, because some of their main clients or customers have been forced to close and there's no work. Or they could be forced to close because they can't guarantee the health and safety of their workforce, as in they can't guarantee that 2 metre distancing between between the staff. Only those essential work or the essential employers, the like of those retail shops and things, are required to be open. If you're non-essential and you can't protect your staff, you should be closing at this stage. So with regard to that scheme then, we are still waiting on clarity as to how that will be calculated. I believe it's going to be based on your February pay. So you would be entitled to 80% of your February pay, which can be topped up by your employer. But in all likelihood, your employer will not be in a situation to be able to do that for you. So you will in all likelihood receive that 80% of your wages. To employers, if you can top it up, you should. However, you need to bear in mind that you need to keep some reserves in place for when the lights turn back on at the end of the day, and you need a wee bit of time to get your business built back up again. Those reserves will be useful at that point. So you might need to take a decision on the long term rather than the short term, just with regard to topping up those furloughed payments. It is ultimately the employer's responsibility to decide whether to furlough their staff. It is not the employee's responsibility. If the employee feels that they can't go to work due to underlying health conditions or various reasons like that, they should speak to 111, the health line, to confirm whether or not they are in a situation where they should be self-isolating. And that's a very different situation from furloughed workers, which is for those employers who feel that they can't open for the reasons mentioned above. So that is the reasoning for using the job retention scheme, and hopefully clears up some of the questions with regard to that. Okay, with regard to the £10,000 grants that's coming through for small business rate relief, we have been advised that some of those payments will be made electronically, where Land and Property Services have the information for your bank, and they may well pay them like that. Otherwise, the application process may well come into play where you need to apply for it. We haven't heard of anybody receiving that as yet. We will keep you posted whenever we start to hear of people receiving that grant funding, so you know to watch out for it in whatever guise you expect to receive those payments in. The Business Interruption Loan Fund, this is the situation whereby you as a business can borrow money from your bank. The government guarantee 80% of it, and it's interest free for up to 12 months. We have got some clarity on this, and disappointingly, it's in a situation whereby if you are entitled and would be able to borrow from your bank ordinarily, they can loan to you under regular commercial terms, i.e. the regular interest rate and with the regular securities in place. The Business Interruption Loan Fund is only for businesses who are not entitled to claim from their bank for a loan under normal commercial circumstances, which is disappointing because an awful lot of businesses at the moment could have benefited from that. But I get the impression that the banks are reluctant to use that scheme where they could loan under ordinary circumstances. So you can let me know whether or not that's applied to you, but certainly that's what we're seeing from clients who have tried to apply for it. Now, with regard to the self-employed individuals, there's been a lot of discussion with regard to what support is coming to them. There has been no official announcement as yet, but there was some information yesterday leaked to social media. It's come from some very reputable sources, so I believe that it's probably an outline of what they're expecting, and what they're talking about is 80% of your average earnings over the last 3 years, obviously divided by 12 to get your monthly earnings, and that's that's what they will pay on. So 80% of your average earnings over that 3-year period. They're putting a cap on it of £2,917. No idea why it's not the same as the £2,500 paid to employees, but that's the figure they have on it. So it's the lower of those two figures. So whichever figure is lower, if your average monthly earnings is lower than 2,917, that's what you'll get. If it's not, if it's higher than that, then you will be capped at that 2,917 figure. So we're hoping for some clarity and that to be hopefully announced this afternoon. We'll keep you posted as and when that becomes more firm. Okay folks, that is a brief update as to where we stand at the moment. I was hoping for some clarity on those various issues yesterday afternoon, which is why there was no communication yesterday, but I thought I would update with those little bit more information that we have as it's coming available. So we will continue to do that, and you may well hear from us again later today. Thank you for your time, thank you for your support, and keep well. Speak to you soon. Bye bye.